Now, weeks after Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg appeared before the US Senate, Mark Zuckerberg made another testimony before the European Parliament. The social media giant CEO began his testimony with an apology for data breach and claimed that the company was doing all it could to prevent misuse of user data. Zuckerberg also agreed to meet leaders of the European Parliament to answer questions about how the political consultancy Cambridge Analytica improperly got hold of the personal data of 87 million Facebook users, including up to 2.7 million in the European Union. Zuckerberg's appearance in Brussels comes 3 days before tough new EU rules on data protection take effect, and the companies will be subject to fines of up to 4% of global turnover for breaching the rules. Meanwhile, on May 20th, the Indian Supreme Court fined Facebook, among other social media platforms, for their lack of response to curb child porn and rape videos on their platforms.
After the recent terrorist attacks in Berlin and Paris, London, and here in Brussels, tens of thousands of people have used our safety check tool to tell the people they love that they're safe. Refugees arriving in Europe are using Facebook to stay in touch with their loved ones back home and find new communities here. There are 18 million small businesses here in Europe that use Facebook today, mostly for free, almost half of whom say that they have hired more people as a result of their use of our tools. But it's also become clear over the last couple of years that we haven't done enough to prevent these tools from being used for harm as well. And that goes for fake news, foreign interference in elections, and developers misusing people's information. We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a mistake, and I'm sorry for it. It's going to take time to work through all of the changes that we need to make here, but I'm committed to getting this right, and to making the significant investments that are necessary to keep people safe. For example, we are doubling the number of people working on safety and security at our company to more than 20,000 by the end of this year. On top of the investments that we're making in other areas, I expect that these increased investments in security will significantly impact our profitability. But I want to be clear, keeping people safe will always be more important than maximizing our profits. In 2016, we were too slow to identify Russian interference on Facebook in the US presidential election. At the time, we were more focused on more traditional kinds of cyber attacks, like phishing and malware. And we identified those and we told people. But we weren't prepared enough for the kind of coordinated misinformation operations that we are now aware of. So since then, we've made significant investments to protect the integrity of elections by making these kinds of attacks much harder to do on Facebook. And I have more confidence that we're going to get this right going forward because we've already done a better job in several important elections since 2016, including the French presidential election, the German elections, and the Alabama special election in the US last year.